Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is called The Fragments. It was written by Steffen, Schütte, and it's translated into English by Pascal Breitenfeld, who is also our game master. And this is episode 6. Our recap will be given by Max Dole as his character, Daniel Lieberman. So without any further delay, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Max?
Detective's log, May 17th, 1926. After yet another odd journey into the world of long-lost history and dreams, Hen and I, with company of Walter and the assistance of Hans Locke and Joseph Prince, has found the supposed corpse of the missing Professor Erling. Henning's curiosity perhaps got the better of him, and we had to run away from hordes of what could only be frogmen with hunchbacks, webbed feet, and clawed hands. We'd escaped for Hen and Prince to get warped by some kind of reflective surface, and we tried to explore the land for other answers, only to find we could never leave the grasp of the lake, only to end up in the wheat fields, seeing a cart in the distance, hearing among the wind a humming from the odd last lines of Hansel and Gretel. It later became ironic, for when we learned that no progress were made from the searches for the lost children, who Hans said, naming-wise, reminded me of Hansel and Gretel. After putting plans together, we had gone to a hiking trip with the head of the Schuhausen Historical Society, encountering an old lady in a dying shed among the communal gardens. It was odd for how it reminded me of yet a fairy tale. On the trip, we learned about the history of the sinkholes, or in some cases, devil's holes, leading to an odd pattern of timing when we connect with the records in the synagogue. Things yet again started to connect even more. For the mayor was very against the town's own historical society from seeing any of the city's records, but before we could look into that, we visited a member of the historical society who was collecting documents of the town's history for a 500-year anniversary exhibit, letting us see many documents from centuries and decades ago. It made me think of something quite odd, as Walter also picked it up. But 58 years. Every 58 years was from some point. Something happened. Sinkholes, fires, cursed birds. And the worst part of it, last time it happened was 1868. 58 years ago exactly. It makes me wonder how this festival will go.
Thank you very much. So when we left off, you were at the house of Erwin Grobe, the curator of the local history society. You stayed quite into the late hours of the evening, and at some point he compliments you out, and he tells you if you want to do further research in it through his stuff, you're certainly welcome if you call on him over the next days. But he is an old man and he needs his sleep now. So
as we're walking back then, what did you think of the little fairy tale of the wild man that had been taking women down into the water? The drawing was kind of disturbing too. It looked very much like our fish frogs from our dreams.
Yes, and it feels... It's odd, but it almost feels a bit too on the point. But maybe that's just because we've seen enough of the pieces.
Well, there's a warning in there about going anywhere near the devil's holes. So maybe the people of that time thought that they were supernatural in some way, and that the monster came from the holes, which we're starting to piece together too. Something about the fish frogs coming through the holes in the earth.
What was it Fritz called out in a letter? What the creature called to him? Why did you come back? Something like that.
Yeah.
There were records in the synagogue. There were records of incidents supposedly happening near those holes. So maybe it's just something he knew from his family.
But isn't Fritz the only not maiden we've heard of being attacked by these? Aren't all the incidents with maidens
It's usually
from the beginning with burning the houses that had stepmothers who had taken on young maidens in their care, including the drawing you just talked about, Carl. They were saying keep the maidens away, or maidens had gone missing when they'd gone wandering.
I'm almost starting to wonder if it's more two things. One where it's in fairy tales, usually it's always a lady that has the tragedy befall them, or it's because he was a young Jewish boy that died in the middle of the forest.
Listen to what it actually says in the text. The voice of the lad was filled with anguish. Why did you come back? He kept shouting. Why did you come back? Only once I could understand what his murderer answered him. I take it upon my oath it was, so that I can eat you better. It seemed to me at first it was the voice of an old woman. But if I think about it now, it could have been the disguised voice of a man. And he says, such big teeth as he's dying. Such big teeth. And there was a disgusting fish smell.
I think it has to be one of those. It has to be one of those frogmen, but we don't know what they can do. They might be
Or
something
whatever it is
miraculous.
the frogmen were based on.
I wonder if we're having the dreams we're having. I wonder if we're alone in that. And I wonder if it has to do with the fact that it's the 58th year and there's some kind of membrane that shrinks as if it were celestial or something, and on some cycle.
Some thinness in the separation between dimensions.
You know, the place where that pyramid is closer to, say, who's in every 58 years.
Well, as disturbing and frightening as that sounds, practically it could be something else. It could be a bunch of people that have taken these legends seriously to the point where they've formed a religion or some sort of cult around it, and they make things happen every 58 years to
The sinkhole still
support
happens
their...
supposedly a sinkhole or a devil's hole or a sinkhole happens every 58 years.
Except when
Well,
there's a
and
fire or something.
a cult doesn't explain our dreams, or as Daniel is saying, occasionally a sinkhole shows up at the same time.
Like it happened beneath the train line.
Right.
You know, I once saw a man who had studied the way of the workings of the mind, and he claimed that he could say to a person certain words, certain phrases, and certain patterns that would cause him to behave the way he wanted him to. So is it possible that somehow the Brothers Grimm and these others have created that kind of a pattern so that anybody who follows this trail has dreams that are the same? I mean, it's very far-fetched, but
Considering we've all had the same one, I think it might go a bit beyond that.
But how likely is it that people ever have the same dream unless it's been planted in them somehow by suggestion?
But we also had conversations with each other in our dreams that we remember.
Yeah, what is happening with our ability to use this possible time following
I couldn't understand any of that. It was garbled.
Me neither.
Who said that? Your sound is suddenly very garbled.
Better.
Oh, yes, much
Yeah.
better.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, what was I? Oh, yeah, everything about what's happening when we're asleep is impossible.
Most practical ideas, yes.
Maybe we should study
And
dreams. See if there's any.
as you walk down the street, it already turned dark outside. You see the groups of young people. You've seen them over the last days that they put up decorations within the city, like bands of little flags in green and white. And a group of those youngsters is coming towards you, laughing and like bowling with each other. And you can hear one of them say, "This is idiot professor," and he's shoving his friend a bit, and they just walk past you.
Well, excuse me, boys.
They turn around. Yeah. And you see one of them is that red-haired boy you met at the Redico.
I recognize you from earlier today. You're talking about a professor. What professor are you talking about?
Oh, you mean Leiman. He used to be a teacher at the high school. He's insane.
So,
Herr Leiman?
Yeah. He
He
used to teach physics.
Tell me about him. Why is he insane?
He used to fall asleep while doing his lessons, and my brother told me a story that once he in a test, he suddenly started to ask questions about some strange lands, like what was it, Zinat or something, and it was a physics test, and he wanted his pupils to show on a map of Europe some places he had nobody ever heard of.
Where would we find him? Is he still teaching?
No, he's been kicked out years ago.
we talk about him now then.
Well, he was just walking down the street.
Oh, which way?
Look, he points into the direction they were coming from.
And had you not seen this professor for a while?
Well, you can see him around town now and then.
Thanks, boys. Stay safe. And I'm gonna run towards where
don't go drill holes in places again.
Yeah. So I'm heading in the direction they said the professor went.
I'm going with you.
Well, actually, when you turn the corner, you see an elderly man in a rather worn down suit who's standing at the edge of the street, and he seems very nervous, moving his hands, and he's mumbling to himself and just kind of walks a couple of steps towards the road and starts shaking his head and just turns around and walks into another direction. He seems a little disoriented.
Okay. How old does he look?
Something in his 50s, you'd say.
Okay.
I'm gonna go poke him. Maybe we can invite him to dinner. Just talk.
Pretend like you were once his student. You know, he can't possibly remember all of his students. Just say, "Oh, years ago you were his student," and we'll get him talking. Maybe take him for a drink.
Oh yeah.
Hello, professor.
Hello, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, hi.
Oh, hello there. How can I help you?
I think it's been a few years, but I think I used to have one in secret classes.
Oh,
Been-
is that so?
Yeah.
How splendid.
It's nice to see you. Are you thirsty?
No, not particularly. Why?
How are you doing?
Oh, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Well, we were just going
And
to
you
get
were
a
one of
beer.
my students. What?
It was
What do you-
like very early. I had to move. I left out of town. Like
He was one of
few
your
months later.
physics students.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
This is a friend of mine from
That
work.
was a horrible time. This. Don't. Please don't go to this school. They killed your dreams there. I tell you. I've been there so long. Don't go to that building. It's horrible.
Well,
Professor, we are actually in town searching for somebody. Do you know a Professor?
Erling.
Professor Erling?
Professor Erling.
No. Why would I? What would I?
He's a folklorist, but he's also interested in some of the strange dreams that people have around here. We ourselves have been having strange dreams.
We heard he was in town for the big festival.
also-
You can all do a psychology roll.
23, what's my psychology?
Well,
No, I passed.
Not my strong suit.
Regular.
I got a hard success. Oh no, sorry, extreme success.
I failed.
So we have a hard, we have an extreme and a normal
Regular.
success. Carl, when you mention the dreams, he seems to be reacting. That triggers a bell with him. Walter, for you, he is definitely hiding something.
Run the dreams.
Well, you think that he's kind of maybe even putting up a show, that he's not
There.
really as confused and as
Right.
jittery as he tries to seem. Yeah. Dreams, you say, dreams. Yes, dreams are important. Dreams are important.
Professor, let's
have some dinner.
cut to the chase here a little bit. We know that you've talked with your students about things that can't be easily explained.
We're not accusing you.
We just
in
want
search of
information.
answers. See,
Wanted to
we've been
discuss this
having
with you.
dreams too.
We're on your side.
He's-
We
We've-
believe you.
We've been to the lake
We've been to the
that's
lake.
called Manar.
when you say mention the lake and mention the name Nar, his eyes go wide. You're not with them, are you?
No.
We can't talk here.
Talk somewhere else.
Where can we talk?
Are you hungry? We can take you for dinner.
Not now. Have it. Come to my place tomorrow.
Where is your place?
And
Gives me.
he gives you an address in Langestrasse.
Professor, I think it'd be to our benefit to speak tonight. We are going to dream again.
No. Come to my place and don't let them see you. Don't let those people see you. And he turns around and walks off. Are you following or?
I'm not letting him This is like give me a
Yeah.
half answer, or
I
I guess
mean,
I might just
I think-
just I guess ghost him, like follow him for a distance.
Yeah, I think Daniel and I both will do that since we're closer to
Okay.
policemen.
So you
And
try
I'll
to
let the other gentleman know they're gonna follow him. So don't interfere.
Yeah.
Let's go get a drink.
Okay,
just wanna make
so
sure that
3 of
these
you go
people
back to
don't
the
attack.
We
hotel.
gotta make sure he's okay by tomorrow.
Then as you try not to be seen by him, it's not easy to not hard to follow him. Do a stealth roll.
Oh, 13. What's my stealth? Oh, 60. I'll spend
I-
one luck and make it an extreme.
No,
I have 42, so I have a normal success.
okay. He goes. It takes basically a few detours. You see him always looking over his shoulder, like he's checking if he's followed, but he doesn't seem to see you. And after some time, he actually reaches the address he gave you. It's a back entrance over a store building, and he enters, and you can see that light on the first floor is turned on after a couple of moments.
That's up one flight of stairs.
Yeah.
First floor European, not first floor
Yeah,
American.
first floor. Okay. Second
fine.
floor US.
First floor, ground floor. Yeah.
So I think that we're going to stake ourselves nearby and make sure that nobody, whoever those people are, don't show up and attack him.
The last time we had like
A night
an
out.
informant that just disappeared the day afterwards when they wanted to like wait a week before they told us things.
It's usually when they call you on the phone.
Right, yeah.
So
Let's-
you want to camp out overnight, or
At least for a while. I want to make sure maybe once he goes to bed, we can go back and go to bed.
yeah, the lights are turned off.
He scared me when he said that. It could just be a paranoid old man, but at the same
True.
time, he
Like
seems to think there are people watching.
I mean, considering how the mayor's kind of against its own people looking into the records, it feels like there's something going on.
Yeah, there's a secret.
Like an hour
here in
after he entered the building, the light is turned out.
Okay.
You can do spot hiddens, both of you.
99. I'm just looking at the back of Lieberman's head.
32. Let's see what I got. Oh, it's a hard.
It's hard. Okay, so basically, Daniel, you're pretty certain you don't notice any suspicious people lingering around beside the two of you.
And I fall asleep.
Come on. I'd probably have to shake you awake and then just
Yeah.
come on. Let's go back to the hotel.
All right.
Let's see if we can find him in the dreams. I doubt it, but
Hans, you wanted to call your colleague?
Oh, yes.
So you ring him up, and as I said, it's gotten rather late. Take some time till he gets to the phone. You know that it's like the similar arrangement that you have at your house. There's a phone down on the ground floor for the whole house, and basically anyone who hears it ringing might or might not get to the phone and we'll get the person who has been called on. And your colleague says, well, you got me onto quite a wild goose chase there.
Really? Anything interesting then?
Well, interesting, you could say. This name, Bokrug, really took me some time till I found anything. And but what I found is should be quite interesting for you. I talked to a doctorate student who's pretty pissed at your Professor Erling.
A lot of people are right now.
It seems like he has taken a copy of a book called Quest in Dreams by Aaron Winthrop from the Prussian State Archive. And my friend was doing research in this book, and he stumbled upon this name Bokrug in that book. But apparently your professor, well, he stole it from the archive.
That's not like him, or it wasn't a few months ago, but I guess it is now. And yeah, he's been interested in dreams and other so.
Well, he had some notes he shared with me. Honestly, it sounds like this book was written by a madman. It's supposed to be the travel log, or his travel log of his travels to the land of dreams. He calls them the lands of the Silver Key. And well, as it seems, he openly admits that he's using drugs to induce his sleep. So I don't know.
Opiates?
Yeah, laudanum and stuff like that. And so I don't know how to take that serious. Are you really interested in that?
Well, yeah, because the context in which we've run across the name Bokrug is also related to somebody else's experiments in dream, and I don't think people can share dreams. So something's peculiar is going on.
Oh, but you owe me quite some beers when you get back here.
I'll need them and happily share.
So let me see, what did I find there? He described his travels through a land he called Nar or something.
Oh.
And there supposedly once an awful amphibious god, which was called Bokrug, had ruled over some kind of great city, forgotten city, and he noted down something about its hideous people. And as it seems, this city has been thrown down.
Demolished or sunken?
Well, it says something about that the city, it's called Ib. It was thrown down by the people of Sarnath, whatever that is. And the people of Sarnath took Bokrug's idol.
Dragged it up the pyramid, I bet.
At least he didn't do any notes on that, no. And there's something that, because they didn't destroy the idol and took it to their town, their city was destroyed as well. And Bokrug and his hideous breed was allowed to survive, and with the help of well, as I said, this is the story of a madman. It says something about a practitioner of dark magics by the name of Yok. And they found a new home in the city of Ilarnak. Don't even know how to pronounce it. It's Ilarnek. Ilarnak. Wait, I don't know how to pronounce that. So this is supposedly happened thousands of years ago, and ever since secret so-called new council had taken over this once happy city.
That is remarkable.
And then he noted down something about them being able to come to the waking lands every 58 years in order to ensure the continuation of the evil breed.
Yikes.
And the last thing he noted was something about the rulers of Tsar, who sent an agent to collect these, what was it? This to put us here, I got it. To put a stop to the unnatural connection of the waking and dreaming worlds, and strive to bring those dreams that should have ended long ago to their land.
Dreams that should have ended long ago. And this is the rulers of Zara that want to do that?
Yeah, seems so. Sorry, to me this sounds like a lot of nonsense and fairy tales and the ramblings of a drug addict.
Yes, well, as you know, Professor Erling has been looking into fairy tales. So hopefully this will get me a step closer to finding Erling, and then we can get our colleague his book back.
Honestly, I don't even know why he bothers. This is leading nowhere. Well, so I've got a busy day tomorrow. If I can't help you with anything else, I would really like to get some sleep.
Yes, I'm sorry to reach you so late. Thanks very much for your help. Yeah, we'll have quite a night out when I get back.
Yeah, see you around. Call
Thanks.
call me when you're back.
Will do. Good night. So I guess I'll take my notes down to the bar, and maybe by then Daniel and Carl will be back. And
yeah, at some point if you're all talking about it, they'll join you.
I wonder if Erling knew about the 58-year cycle when he came down here already. It's not clear when he took the book out of the archive.
To reiterate, we have supposedly a lost, destroyed city, and then a race that deported to a different land, and then we have a secret council, and then a 58 cycle where basically send new people in to make sure that there's still like a secret council in command.
And their hideous race goes on, I assume, in the pools.
Also, the name Yoke was like a practitioner of things that caused the binding thing to occur.
I think, was it even Joch who founded Seehusen?
I think he designed parts of it. It's hard to recall directly.
You heard while you were talking to the different people over the last day, you heard the name Yokt repeatedly.
And the professor had some sort of eureka moment, suggesting there was some final piece of the puzzle that explained everything.
He already knew
What
this
was
too.
that? What was that piece?
Was Yoke also the one that made the statue?
Yeah.
Or at least his
Or
like
his
descendant.
name is on it, right?
Like there's a big family line of them. supposedly. Like currently right now is like one's like the coroner.
So
Well,
perhaps
our professor went to
You
sleep,
heard-
so we came back.
And you heard that he has another job in the town.
Undertaker.
Well, he's the Undertaker, and he is the chairman of the rifle club.
Right.
Right. Which is the
He
important
is-
festival. Yeah.
Carrying on the tradition. It's that line.
Plus, though, the mayor, like, I would think the hidden council thing would be a bit preposterous, but considering how the mayor is against anyone, even their own historical society, looking into their actual town records, I'd buy it to some degree.
So I bet
I
what would you
still-
want to bet that the festival is all around the sinkhole. The
Or maybe
city
it'll be
pool.
maybe near with the new one that will show up this year.
I
Well, we
do
wouldn't wanna-
wonder about the eureka moment.
He rolled
The
this too.
professor had the book first, and so he knew about the 58 years. What did the girl tell him?
Yeah, shortly after he talked to the girl after class, this female student,
Tell them about the cartoon about like
and she was
cartoons
from
in the
here.
parish. Yeah, she was from that town.
She
you
was
guys
from
mentioned
here,
about, like the
nearby.
like the cartoonist in the parish house.
All right. So the professor seemed to know something about the dream stuff that we were brought up. He wants to talk to us tomorrow. And do we think that maybe the girl is locked in the dream world?
Well, that was one of our theories, that it was some sort of
Well, I wonder how the
self-sacrifice on her
dream,
part.
I wonder how the dream world actually works. Can we look for the girl and see if we can find her?
Nobody
Is
had
there
to
such a
control it.
thing?
And importantly, if the professor's dead in the dream world, is he dead here? And if we are injured or killed by those things in the dream world, what happens to our
I mean,
waking
considering
bodies?
your faces turned back normal when you woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of the time, if you're killed in the dreamland, you just wake up. That's what.
What happens in my nightmares. But I've never
Well-
shared my nightmares before.
Well, is everyone here expecting to have a dream tonight?
I think we're all anticipating.
Had one
it.
every night, haven't we?
Yeah.
I just kind of wonder if everyone else has one too. They just don't think about it.
A lot of
You
people don't
mean
remember.
people outside of our group are dreaming with us and they don't realize?
Professor told us to watch out for the people who are. It seemed to indicate there's an enemy here. People, don't let them find you. Wonder if he's talking about the yolks.
Or I guess those that listen to the yolks directly.
And I wonder
Rifle
if
club.
if the rulers of Tsar are trying to end this dream, how do we find them and increase their success?
What scares
have
me is that we've been
allies.
walking around talking to people.
And we didn't even know.
So I bet whoever it is they already know about us. And they're just waiting for us to get too close.
And remember, the mayor seems to be part of some sort of cover-up, trying to hide
Yeah.
historical records from researchers and such.
On the other hand, the locals don't seem to think any of this is strange. This place is so disordered to begin with that people don't notice that they're
And they've stopped looking for those little kids that have gone missing.
I'm wondering. This town reminds me of, I guess, a deep-seated cult where eventually it just becomes where all the culture is shifted enough where there is just a slight veil over certain places where no one just thinks about it anymore. So there's just something that can hide in the open.
I know in this modern world that seems highly unlikely, but
Considering it's hundreds of years in the making.
Well, you actually, as you said, they stopped looking for the children. You actually have the impression that there was like a token engagement to do search parties, but
Right. It didn't seem
after
to
that
be
was
very.
done, the town seems to be more interested in preparing for their festival.
No. It's not like you would expect, if a child goes missing somewhere, there's like an all points bulletin from the police.
They would just have people doing the festival and people doing searching at the same time. It's not. There wouldn't be a priority.
It would still
essentially.
it should put a huge damper on any kind of festival that you're going to have.
True, they'd probably delay it by a few days.
Or maybe they're used to losing little Hans and little Greta once in a while.
I don't think we could check the records right now to find out if it's a history of that.
Professor Leiman didn't give us an hour, did he?
No, it's tomorrow.
No,
Oh, it's tomorrow.
we can show up in the
We
morning.
know where he lives.
Yeah, we shouldn't wait too long, assuming we don't sleep late again.
I
Assuming
got
we
the
all
feeling
wake up.
that he may have felt that we were endangering him just by talking to him on the
Yeah.
street.
In context now, I understand, but
What?
Are we in danger here in our rooms?
I don't.
No, I
don't
suppose
even
we
know.
are, but just be ready. Interesting too that he's a physics professor.
Yeah,
I mean, if
perhaps it's not-
we're talking about opening some sort of interdimensional door between that
Also
side and this side, there might be some science involved in it.
I also think it was just because he supposedly slept a lot, so he just dreamed a lot.
This just doesn't look like the kind of town where one would be exhausted all the time.
Unless
He's
you
a
could never actually
teacher.
sleep anymore.
Or if you did, how do we feel when we wake up in the morning after these dreams? Tired?
No, you're basically
Like we
refreshed.
slept?
Yeah.
Didn't that young boy you talked to, Carl, say something about Czar?
The boy? No, I don't think so.
About finding a place
I
on
think
the
he
He
said-
map?
mentioned that's what the professor talked about once.
I think he
Mhm.
said Zinat.
Oh,
Yeah,
Sorry.
Zinat, that's what it says on my
Fits the
My little
fits
notepad
the
that I carry.
dialect of the names of those places from what you told us, Hans.
and Ilarnak. That was another one.
All right.
Ilarnak.
It sounds like that's their name for Zeehusen. I mean, that's the city they founded after the
And you
destruction
said
of
Ib
Sarnath,
was the name of the
the
pyramid
ruined city we visited. Yeah.
And Sarnath.
Sarnath.
was the thing.
Yeah.
Not
And
the
we
place
can't
that
get
was
to
all in ruins.
Sarnath. We tried to walk to it, but it was always on the horizon.
All right.
So is that like? So is like that city the city of Ib?
I wish this place had a big library that,
A sign would be good too.
because these things might exist in literature, but you're not going to find it in the local little place. You're going to find it in a big old university library somewhere.
Plus, even
Some of-
hoping we could be able to read any of their literature.
Some of these names sound vaguely Babylonian to me.
Might be that old.
Zinat, Ilarnak, yeah, Minar, Sarnath. Yeah, they sound Sumerian.
Huh.
Well, I don't think the ancient Sumerians had anything around here.
So anything you guys want to do before going to bed?
I don't think so, but
We don't have any active leads right now.
we do have to talk to that professor about this map thing and him trying to find these places in the real world.
Might be our next lead, honestly.
and there was one interesting thing that your associate mentioned, Hans. It's the land of the silver key. And remember, we have the stories of the keys. There were more than one. So It could be related.
Is that what people would call, I guess, the world in the dreams?
Not that I've ever heard of.
Because it seems like they're talking about the same place. It's just different points, space. If that makes any sense. I may be thinking about it wrong.
I think there's a lot of primitive cultures that have concepts of the dream world. The Aborigines of Australia talk about dream time.
No. Anna was reading about it.
Oh, I'm tired. Let's get up early
Yeah,
in the
let's-
morning and go see our professor.
Hopefully he won't have skipped town before we get there.
I don't really know if I get a place to go. What's the thing?
I hope that he finds comfort in the fact that we also have been there. So maybe.
If we're lucky, maybe we can try to find him.
So you retire to your respective rooms, and as you suspected, you find yourself once again in this rolling wheat field, and basically you fall asleep and you find yourself walking on that road towards the city.
GM, what are we wearing? Like our clothes that we were wearing that
Like-
day, or
Well, like the last nights, so the Carl and Daniel are dressed in like leather
Minis?
jerkins and like a more martial style.
So medieval looking clothes.
Yeah, medieval looking clothes. Walter in a more silks and
okay, so
fineries.
not our usual day-to-day kind of
No,
clothing. Okay,
And like Joseph and Hans are both in like robes of sorts.
yeah.
all right. Well, my character will look down and see how he's dressed, and
You are kind of strangely dressed. Basically, what you are wearing looks like, well, maybe a priest attire, but you also have a sword on your side.
I'll unsheath it. Check the point.
Yeah, it,
Ah,
it's no fake.
I'll do a little Zorro dance.
You have quite some experience with fencing, so it's a good blade.
Never
But
thought
I'm
about
dressed
it.
like a priest.
Or like a priest, yeah.
Maybe you're a Knight Templar.
Maybe you're like a justice. Maybe you're just
Maybe
like,
Yeah,
he's
something like that.
Maybe he's a prince.
I see what you did there, Detective Henning.
I was more wondering if he was more of just like, I guess, a period fitting. I guess we both look like, I think we're both we're detectives, so I guess we look like marshals. And I guess I was wondering if he would look like is what their idea of a lawyer is for the time.
I want to.
I mean, Joseph, we can't help but notice all of the fairy tale-isms that have been going on around us. And your last name is Prince.
It's probably just a coincidence, Detective Henning. It's a common family name.
So
GM, I want to test the theory. I want to take my sword and then my
Yeah.
forearm, and I want to cut.
while you
Your
take
hand
a-
falls to the ground.
I don't mean
take
cut. I
further
don't mean cut my
damage,
hand off. So I want to like.
A
just-
light cut.
and you actually have a bleeding wound there.
okay,
I guess
so-
you're not cutting too deep.
not too deep. I'll see if
It
it's
hurts just as if you've cut yourself.
see if
Is it-
see if the injury is there when I wake up.
Is it red?
Yeah.
Okay, you're not an alien.
So we're still on the shore going toward the White City,
Yeah.
and there's wheat
Well,
fields.
if you want to go to towards the White City.
I'm wondering if are we, are we before or after where the cart track led into the wheat?
The cart you don't see the cart tracks. It's hard to tell.
Because I would like to see that cart and see the Sandman, maybe. Also, it's a way to measure our progress.
Considering
just-
last time where it wanted us to stay within a certain area, maybe now that we're in a different starting place, it let us go farther out.
So are we kind of in agreement though that this, and I point to the lake, is Minar,
I
and
think so.
that over there is Ib, and that over there is Sarnath.
That's
Probably.
if we're pronouncing them right.
And there was some sort of battle here,
Considering all
Well,
the corpses and
which
the
the
dead king.
Sarnathians won.
But they kept the idol of the odious god and somehow were destroyed.
And I guess all of the people of Ib now live in the lake.
Well, they
I
live
thought they
in
slaughtered all of the Ibians,
Well,
but
who else lives in
not-
the lake then?
not all of them, because they went on to found Ilarnak.
And
Oh,
they're all the fish people that came from the lake.
Gentlemen, are
So-
we listening to ourselves? This is sheer madness. Fish
No,
people.
it's-
Look at where we are right
it's-
now. Like,
it's
look at where we
dream
are.
nonsense.
And wrap that wound up. You're gonna
You get that infected.
Yeah, you're bleeding out. You're leaving a
You're the one
trail
that
of
cut our
blood.
here. It's like, look at where we are. There is a glowing silver city here. There's a dead city over here. There's fish people in the lake.
Fish.
And we've got a guy named Prince telling us that it's all nonsense.
We
Pascal,
need to find the ruler of Czar or his agents to help us. Clearly.
Where is Czar in all of this? I don't see
Yeah,
another city anywhere.
if this is a dream, I wish I could manifest a map, but I don't know if I can do that.
I wonder if we can get to Sarnath before its destruction
All
and
right.
speak
I
to
want to think
somebody
about-
there.
I want to think about the girl too, and see
Right.
if we can somehow run across her because
Hans,
of our dreams.
Joseph, did you guys dream about finding like Rapunzel's tower or something?
So,
think
as
that's-
you walk on,
Several nights ago.
Do you think
You
it's
have to-
anywhere connected here?
you get the feeling that unlike the last night where you didn't do any progress towards the White City, this time it draws closer.
Mhm.
But
You're right,
very,
Daniel.
but very slowly. The sun starts to wander across the sky as you walk on. Strangely, you don't feel any hunger or thirst.
I was just wondering, can we feel tired in a dream? Why don't we run? We'll get there all the
I
faster.
guess it's like if our feet don't get sore, why not?
Yeah.
Why
So
stop there? Maybe we can fly.
So you
Wanna
do
try?
you run for some time, but you get tired just like in the waking when you're awake.
damn you, rules of the dream one.
I guess we still, I guess we still have
Perhaps we
stamina.
can,
Can't
we
escape
can
the laws of
think our
physics.
way there. If we
Well, we're getting-
imagine ourselves there, like we did with the pyramid. Remember, we all headed towards the pyramid and suddenly we'd moved.
Yeah, but I'm
Hmm.
wondering if it's more of. I'm starting to wonder more of when we're in this dream, it's more trying to show us something than actually letting us walk around fully. Like it's
Well, you're assuming then that there's some higher power that's directing
it's-
us.
more considering how they talked about how there's like they let something bleed through from here to Seehausen. I'm wondering if it's more of we're dipping into what's that letting that bleed through happen, and it's just because of that it's reviewing what led to it. But
Time may
I'm-
not work the same here either, so we might.
I'm just
walk
thinking
for
about it
20
being like-
years.
I'm thinking about it like we're in the chapters of a story or something. Because
And talking about walking for 20 years, you walk on for hours. And at some point, the sun sets. And you are tired.
Well, this has been an incredibly boring dream of just walking through the wheat fields next to the river or the
Maybe
river
Except
lake.
campfire with.
Except for Yosef's wound. Does the city seem closer?
Yeah, it's
Did
drawing.
it continually get closer? Or did it get
Yeah,
closer to a point and
continually.
then stop? Okay.
No, continually.
And it's still
But
wheat
it's-
on the other side of the shore?
Yeah.
And it still could be hours away. We can't really tell.
Might be still like how many kilometers away? I don't even know.
So we sleep on a haystack or make a Yosef cuts down some wheat and we sleep on that?
If
I've
there's any
never
trees, I guess we
slept
can
in a
just go make
dream.
we can make a tent or we can
We're
make some
going
cover
to
under a
sleep
tree.
inside of our dreams? That's interesting.
It's a new one for me.
What
But
if
so
we
is-
fall asleep in our dreams and we just wake up? And that's because our
Probably.
real lives are a dream. And this is the reality.
This is
We're all
that talk about-
butterflies.
Perhaps we'll dream in our dreams.
So not to
So-
listen to that lecture from Bolter.
So you settle down and try to make a camp somehow?
Yeah.
I don't even know we need to make a fire with anyway.
I'm not sure you want to make a fire in this wheat field. The whole
Fair, I
wheat
guess it's-
field could go up.
Well, it's warm. It's like a summer
Yeah.
evening.
Do we want to set up right next to the shore?
I think we want to go into the wheat a little bit. I
Has
don't
there
think we
been
want
has
to-
the lake
The-
has,
the
is
street
lake this
ha-
large?
The street is the road is like a bit away from the lake.
Oh.
How large
So
is this lake? Is it like
you
go
see
from
you can see the lake, but it's not as if you're right next to it.
was the lake this large? Like it goes from like the edge of where we see the Silver
Yeah,
City to the
it
fa-
does.
to the fallen city. Oh, okay,
And this is the same lake that we saw the other night.
Yeah.
From the pyramid.
same place.
But we haven't seen any fishmen.
They're in the
Mm,
lake. We didn't bother them.
Do you want me to throw a rock into the water and see what?
That's not-
Detective Henning, please don't. I may be an effective swordsman, but I don't think I can fight off a whole band of enraged fishmen.
Couple of
Eh.
years down the line, Joseph tells the story of this detective who threw the stone into a lake to some professor of literature, and he takes it for his Lord of the Rings story.
Mhm. Full of a toque.
Then I guess we'll start putting together like a small.
Well, it's not
Yes,
very
yes.
comfortable, but you can try
What
to
color is
make
the
yourself
sky?
as comfortable as possible.
Is the sky clear? Is it
Yeah,
stars and
it's clear.
planets? And
Stars are out, and they don't look like anything you've ever seen.
Do we recognize like a constellation, like
No.
Big Dipper, Little Dipper?
You
or-
recognize the moon.
is it the same moon, the same face on the moon that we see?
Is it like a moon that
Yeah,
has like a crater in it?
The
I
vampire.
think, I think it is, yeah.
So, gentlemen, I dabble a bit in astronomy.
Mhm.
Able to
I don't-
recognize a few constellations. I don't see any in the skies above us, which is
Mm.
There's
Quite
no
bizarre.
North Star either.
There's the little horse cart with the Sandman.
Probably.
Am I dressed much as Professor Erling?
Yeah,
Professor Erling's body was?
similar.
Yeah. Right, so I'm going to pull my little hood up and try to catch some Z's in the wheat.
Well, after a time, you all find a way to fall asleep, and you wake up to an early morning in the same wheat field.
Okay.
Not how dreams work.
I think my theory about us being in chapters of a story might be more reasonable now.
You mean
So who's written the story? God?
The
He's
Sandman.
just screwing with us.
Let's continue to the city.
is my
Well,
arm
hopefully we
still is
get
my
there.
arm still injured?
Well, the wound is healing. He didn't cut all that deep, but it's still there.
Still sore.
You can
Internal
maybe
logic.
the
Consistency.
point of damage.
So we slept and then woke up in our dream.
Mhm.
Good Lord.
And you continue on towards the city, and today it draws ever closer. And at some point, you actually can make out details. It seems to be built from white marble. And as you draw ever closer, you see that it's ringed by a big marble wall. But it looked like it has been under attack. There's much damage on the walls.
Another dead city.
We seem to
And
get everywhere too late.
as you get to the city gate, which is standing wide open, you notice that the city of Ib was very quiet. Here it's even more. Your very steps, it's like as if the sound is subdued. You can hear your steps. You don't hear anything as you enter the city gate.
I'll yell out, "Hello!"
Does his
You
voice
try
echo?
to yell out, but it nearly hurts you to try to call. And it's like you start help, as if the sound was sucked from your lips.
How
So we
about
can't talk to each other.
more normal speech? Is that possible?
You try to talk, and it's nearly physically hurting you.
So I'm walking into the city.
Yeah, I'm walking into the city too.
I want
Yeah, I
to
have to-
find a central square or something.
The other three?
I'll follow.
We're following and
yeah.
see if I can find it. If I can
Is it
recognize any of the
is it a
signs.
monstrously huge city?
It is at least as big as the other one.
Is there any non-Euclidean geometry?
Well, it's actually it's a very beautiful city. There's a lot of destruction, but there are old statues, some of which are still at least partially intact. And what you notice is that there are only depiction of beautiful people. There's not a thing depicted that doesn't seem perfect.
What, it's like a classical Greek kind of style? Like,
Yeah, but you have never seen such beauty in classic Greek or Roman statues. It's like every statue you see is at least a David.
Amazingly beautiful city. I'm looking to see if there's anything that looks obviously like a temple, because we heard they brought the idol to their temple.
So you walk down that central thoroughfare, and after maybe an hour, you actually see reach a big square. The marble tiles it has been laid out are all cracked, and On the other end of the square, there is a temple building, a big, huge marble dome, huge pillars, and a wide open gateway.
I head towards it and enter.
As you reach it, you smell this faint smell of essences, like in church. The door.
I was expecting frog.
The gate doors are made from mother of pearl. And you enter into a big hall where you see 3 very large statues, at least 6 meters high, each one. They depict the one on the left, a tall man made from white marble, but the hair and his robes are cut from some black stone, obsidian or something. In the middle, there's also very good looking, but a bearded young man who's holding a spear. And next to that is the figure of an older, distinguished man with a more wild beard, and his hair is made from this black stone as well. He's carrying like a staff. And behind those 3 statues, there's a big pedestal, like 4 by 4 meters. And you see there's something like a big silver chain lying across the pedestal.
Anyone have a silver key?
I move towards the chain to look at it.
Yeah, I'm looking up at the statues.
Yeah, looking at a statue.
Hmm?
Looking at a statue.
I was trying to see if there was any like symbology or like I guess just language on any part of the city as we walked here.
There are no murals or anything on the walls, but you see there are carvings on the pedestal. And they depict some amphibious creatures and tall humans. It seems to tell a story, like the man with the tall man. They carry spears and swords, and they seem to bring down the amphibious creatures. And this chain on the pedestal, it seems to be broken. There several of the chain links are cracked, and there's scratch marks on the pedestal.
This is where they put the Bokrug, and it was taken from or escaped.
Or they took it back.
Are we still having trouble talking?
Yeah.
I guess
So
it's yeah.
what you say is internal.
Yeah. Was there any? There was no one here. Like it's an empty city, yet it's extremely loud, right?
We haven't seen anyone. And as you look around, you suddenly hear the cry of a cat. This is the first sound you hear in this whole city. It's from somewhere outside the temple doors.
I'll run toward that.
It's like a you would say a dying cat. So you run,
Yeah,
all
I'm
run
going
out.
to.
Yeah.
You
Find
run
the
to the
sound.
door, and a mist seems to have risen in the short time you've been in the temple. And you see you hear this crying of this cat, and you see shapes like in the mist moving around.
Shapes like people, shapes like
Like-
cats.
No, like people.
Shaped like frog people,
No, like more humanoid people.
ghosts.
And you see the shine of a lantern coming through the mist.
I start to move down into the mist to see if I can find the people with the lantern. Maybe they're the people
Cat.
from Czar.
The lantern, the light of this lantern, the shapes are ever drawing away from you. You go into, you follow them, and it's like a will-o-wisp that keeps on moving away as you are following.
Are we still hearing the cat cry?
You still hear the cat cries from the same direction.
That might lead us toward a place where we can speak. So
Might lead us towards our death.
Or to just waste our time away from the temple.
Well, we're together, so
So you follow that, and
I'm
it leads you to the edge of the square and into an alley. And in the distance you see it looks like a shop window, brightly lit
down the alley.
down the alley.
Once in a while we're testing whether we can communicate.
It's still the same.
we can probably get out words.
You can, yeah, you
Yeah,
try,
wait.
but it really is. You start a word, and it's as if the word is sucked from your mouth.
When a painting, but I have to tell them that later.
Yeah, follow down the alleyway towards the light.
Head towards the shop.
You see, it looks like a shoemaker store. There's a window you can see light shining through, and there's a door next to it with a small window pane, which is also brightly lit. There's a sign with depicting a shoe above the door, and it looks totally out of place. All you saw here were these more gargantuous buildings, these impressive palaces, temples, and this looks, well, like a shoemaker, a cobbler's shop from medieval times.
Seems quaint.
I'll try the door.
Is there a front window?
It
here and
opens,
such?
and you hear, as you open the door, you hear the chiming of bells. Like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I can hear something.
Yeah, you hear movement from inside, and you hear, oh, sounds like somebody is working in there.
And the shop
Fairy
is
tales.
lit with lanterns.
Yeah, there are lanterns hanging on from the ceiling.
And there are
And you
shoes
see
on
a couple of small bearded men in black clothes and leather aprons, sitting on stools and working on something.
More fairy tales.
Say
And as you opened the door and the bell rang, one of them turns towards you, and he looks up from the boot he's working on. He has his hair is matted, and there's like feathers sticking in his hair, black hair. Oh, come in, please, come in. We've been waiting for you. Come in, come in.
You were expecting us?
Wait, till you
Yes,
talk.
we expected you. Come in, take a seat, please.
Thank you for the warm welcome.
And you see, actually, 7 of those rather small guys. Like
7.
maybe.
Are we able to speak in here?
Yeah, you try to answer and you can speak.
Our voice doesn't get sucked away. Okay.
It's another chapter. Hello. we've
Take
traveled-
a seat, and
Yes.
they basically push you to 4 stools. 5, 1 for each of you. Are you complying, or?
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We've
Just along for the
Hospitality.
ride at this point.
traveled very far to find you. We're looking for the rulers of Tsar, ultimately.
And while you're talking, the 7 they are just bustling around you. They are measuring your feet, taking off the shoes and boots you're wearing. Are you? Do you comply, or?
I do.
I'm not
Yeah.
gonna fight it that hard unless it's like something gets really weird.
Oh, they
I want to think about whether any of the stories I know from Grimm's tales say anything about something like this.
There's the 7 dwarves.
The cobblers,
You-
though, putting you in magic shoes that
As-
you
as
dance
you-
to.
Who asked for the city of Tsar?
I did.
Hans.
So the one who greeted you first, he just put on like a leather basic shoe cap on your foot, and is using needles to get the right measurements. And he looks up, Zara, we were once the 7 sons of his 7 sons. Our father was one of the 7 great rulers of the city of Zar. 6 of his sons became princes, warriors, and wizards. But the 7th son, our father, became the world's greatest shoemaker. And he rips the shoe from your foot. And we, his children, took over his craft. Though our father's choice was not to his father's liking. And they keep on bustling around you. And basically, every one of you gets his foot measured.
I'm a little nervous about this. I get a feeling that there's some tingling in the back of my mind about some story with magic shoes.
What,
Not
does that make you
sure.
dance until you die?
Or
Maybe
the
those.
curse.
Remember, Mr. Hammer, this is just a dream.
That's not how you felt when we were running away from the fish people.
That's true. But this
Yes.
seems
Or when your face got
Seem-
changed.
How, I'm asking the little fellows, what can we do to repay your kindness?
Yeah. And as they are bustling around you, another one of them, he's like a very hoarse voice, and like more like a croaking, is good shoes they are, and we have been only able to work on them for 1 day in 1,000 years since proud Sauner fell. Good shoes they are, and fast ones, and repay you shall do. You shall do.
Hmm. So this is the only shop that's open after Sarnath was destroyed 1,000 years ago?
Hmm. you notice that the two who spoke up by now, they basically went back to the workbench and are more or less ignoring you and working on the shoes. And a third one, he has like a very long beaky nose. He looks at you and says, "This city was the first, built at a time when your race was weak and helpless, and we are all that is left of its glory. It was dreamed by beings who lived in caves and were hairy, and they were only able to escape from their hostile nature in their sleep. And because they dreamed only what they did not know yet, this was a perfect place. But we are all that's left." And with that, he turns away and keeps on working.
I think we have only 4 more questions, gentlemen. There's no writing on anything in here.
No. It's like a really an old-fashioned cobbler's shop. It's lots of tools, pieces of leather, pieces of wood and string.
Are we then to be your final customers?
Let's see. They don't. No one answers. They
It's-
keep on working on your feet, on the shoes.
Maybe it's 7 specific questions. But I'm not sure what to ask, I guess, besides
Have you seen Snow White?
They don't seem to react to that.
what happened to Sarnath?
Pride was the downfall of our kind, and the one who's speaking up is like trying to hide his face all the time. Proud were the people of Sarnath, and presumptuous enough to believe they could conquer evil forever.
I thought it was Bokrug that was the downfall of Sarnath.
And the fifth one, who hasn't spoken by now, he is like moving his head all the time back and forth, like he's feeding chicken or bird or something. They are still alive. They are all still alive, but they've moved on and made a new pact. There's only one gate left, but this is founded so deep no man will ever reach it. But their dark realm now lies far to the north.
Will our shoes take us there?
The next one, he has like little fluffy feathers sticking out from his hair. He brings one of the nearly finished boots, puts it on your feet. You must go north. You must go north to the end of the road and find that what binds your realm to ours. You must go north. They have taken her north. She cannot wait from her high prison. You must find her ere it's too late.
Princess?
You have to ask us the right question to get the right answer. We have to go north to find Rapunzel and free her from the tower and wake her up.
Those that put her in the tower, The remains of what? As of Ib?
Can you repeat the question?
Are those that put her in the tower those that remained of Ib? Supposedly the evil, you say.
The last one, he hasn't gotten up from the from his workbench by now. As the other 6 put the finished boots onto your feet, which really fit very comfortable. The last one gets up and starts to inspect every boot and goes over them with his fingers, which are like claws. And while he's checking all your boots, he's going, "Deep was the fall, deep. But what happened, we have forgotten. It was too long ago. We have also forgotten our names. All we know is that our father sent the gay jester, so we would find and bind all the evil things still haunting this and the other world. The rest is forgotten. All forgotten. Forgotten. And with every forgotten, one of the small men are joining in. Forgotten. 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 And as the last of the 7 joins into this eerie chorus, you find yourself standing in an crumbling, abandoned workshop. The tools you've just the 7 men used are lying broken and rusted on the floor. It looks like this place hasn't been visited for centuries.
Do we still have the new boots?
You still have the boots.
And I try to say something, like, does my throat, do the words come out?
Nope.
Hmm.
Again, this feeling like your voice is sucked from you.
North?
So you
I'm trying to
Leave.
tell you that they said they were binding evil, and they've bound our feet in boots.
I was also thinking if we need to get out of the city to talk. So just because you're like, let's walk out.
Yeah.
When we go out, can we tell which way north is based on where the sun's been?
Well, this fog has lifted again, and you can see the sun. And if this is the same as in the waking world, yeah, it's quite easy.
I point that way.
And there's from that central, you backtrack back to the square, and there's a similar road that was entering from you were entering the square from the first time, leads to the north, like a big broad thoroughfare.
Head that way as quick as my new boots will carry me.
You don't, it's a strange feeling. You're sure that that you traverse at least the same amount of city streets and buildings as when you entered the city, and you don't have the feeling that you walk any faster than when you entered the city. But it's like in a very quick amount of time, you are leaving the city limits. And as you step through the gates, there suddenly you hear the wind again. You hear some birds, and you can hear your steps.
Sarnath is a city of ghosts.
Arnath is a place of dying immortal memory.
Boot making ghosts.
Good boots.
I wonder if they'll follow us into the waking world.
If their
Um,
father sent the jester, can we trust them?
Well,
we
who's
don't
the
know.
Maybe
jester?
he's the agent of the king of Zar to stop Okrug in our world.
What if it's a situation of it's two different forces that hate each other, and they're just trying to keep each other in check for as long as possible, regardless
think
of what.
I think they've both been dead for 1,000 years.
And it's just what remains.
I assume the
It's-
jester is the Sandman. He
Mhm.
was in Motley. And I don't know what his position is, but I think those are the last of the people of Zar, those ghosts that shot us in these magical boots. And we need to get to Ana Rosa, or whatever her parallel is in this world, before she perishes in the real one, or the waking one.
Let's at least get there within a day, possibly.
Hopefully these are fast boots.
They
They
appear to
said
be.
they were.
Let's go.
And you start walking towards the north. The road leads very straight on. And the day passes again. And as you're walking and walking and walking, you wake up in your beds at the hotel.
Any boots?
No boots.
Is my
Just
arm,
the one you forgot to put in front of the door, so they weren't cleaned.
is my arm injured?
Nope. No injury.
So we're going to confer with one another as to everything that happened in
I
our
have to
dreams.
confirm, yeah. So we
And then
need to make.
Let's go find the
Yeah.
professor.
Quick breakfast, and let's see if we can get to Professor Leiman before the others do.
Well, now I don't even know if it's like we're dealing with, I guess, the fish people, Ib, or I guess what remains of Sarnath. I don't even know anymore.
I'm still curious about this mayor. Would anyone like to join me? Talk with the mayor? I'm just curious. I don't know how valuable it'd be to the investigation. I'm just curious. He seems to be hiding something.
I think you should wait until after we talk to the professor. He seemed to think they were dangerous people to watch out for.
Fair enough.
And we've spoken to him briefly. We haven't spoken to this Yoch yet. But
Haven't
perhaps,
spoken to the mayor.
we just know about his opposition.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So all of you go to the address of the
Professor.
Professor Leiman. Yeah, you knock on the door. And no one answers.
Oh, friggin'.
Not a good sign.
All right, give me a moment. You don't mind ending if I try?
Go ahead.
All right,
It's good practice.
I'm gonna go pry the lock open. Here we go.
Okay.
Check where I have this image thing. All right, I do. Normal success.
Yeah, it's just a cheap lock. It's no problem.
Right, there
So-
we go. All right, that's all the pins.
So you open the door. It's a small hallway and staircase leading up, pretty cramped.
Professor Leiman, are you here? Let's go upstairs.
You go upstairs, and on the first floor landing, there's another door.
I'll try it. See if that's him.
It's locked.
Dan.
All right, I'll try again.
Okay.
See if it's the same kind of lock.
You guys have a lot of experience doing this kind of thing?
Might as
Well-
well knock first in case he's just a late sleeper.
They have a it's like they have a routine. They have a dental routine.
I
No
know
answer.
success, but I'll wait for them to knock first.
All right, will we knock? Professor Leiman?
No answer.
All right.
Normal success. Hmm.
So you picked the
Okay.
lock.
So again, no problem.
We step inside.
You open the door, and you stand basically in a one-room apartment. There's a sink and a small stove in the back of the room. There's a bed on one side. It's the whole room is very clean, and you see an awful lot of butterflies, like a collection in all pinned up in small glass cases, lining the wall and lining basically every free space you see. And you see the Professor Leiman lying on the bed. Seems to be asleep.
I'll immediately go up and try to wake him. Check for a pulse.
Yeah, you touch him and he has a pulse.
Professor.
He doesn't react.
I raise
Just
up
hit-
my hand.
Check his wrists for any scratches.
No scratches. Do you slap him?
No. I'll
Shake him?
shake him a little. Professor.
Yeah, and
Professor Leiman.
as you shake him, his eyes start to flutter. He seems to be waking up and
Don't be alarmed.
Worried?
don't be
you
alarmed.
worried?
What are you doing in my room? And
Wait.
he's like crawling onto into the corner of the bed.
We all
Worried.
had another dream last night. He
Well,
told us to come and see you today.
but that's no reason to break into.
We were afraid you were hurt or
We're
something.
in mortal
We
peril.
tried to wake you.
We're not here to rob you.
We rang, we knocked. Well, we're sorry. We'll step out and you can.
We'll wait an hour or so.
We'll make you breakfast.
Were you in the dreamlands? That's where we were last night.
You know about the dreamlands.
Yes,
Lands
we've been
of
there a
the
number of
dreams.
times.
City of Sarnath and Ib, the king of Zar.
How do you know about it?
Because we've been there. We spoke last
Well-
night to the 7 sons of Zar.
Seven?
Or the
I don't
or
know.
the son of the seventh son.
The
don't
seven
know.
sons of the seventh son, who was a
Shrewd.
cobbler.
The Zar is the only city in the land of Zach. It's where the discarded and forgotten dreams go. I don't know about any But I've never been in that part of the dreams.
I'm sorry. So discarded and what? Discarded and
What?
It's where dreams that are forgotten and
so like
are
old
discarded and should fade are
such as
taken to the land of Zach.
like old folk tales and such.
Yes, and forgotten nightmares.
Why don't we let the professor get dressed? We'll put some coffee on. And Professor, all of the stuff that you've thought about and dreamed and stuff, apparently it's true, and we've all experienced it as well.
I know that it is true.
We have a lot to talk about. Something is happening.
Something's coming.
I'll let him get dressed.
I'll go lock the door again.
And I'll go make some coffee if that's what he drinks.
Well, if you want to make coffee inside, it's, as I said, it's one room.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Then you can't leave.
Well, he can step out into the hallway if he wants to get dressed.
I got that.
So you wait in the hallway.
Yeah.
And after a couple of minutes, he opens the door again. He's dressed in the same worn-out suit you saw him the day before. So come in.
Thank you. We're sorry to have frightened you earlier.
We were just concerned.
You can say that.
So can we say that we go over everything that's happened to us so far with the professor, and that somehow we've gotten sucked into the dreamlands, first to Ib, then to the field of wheat, and then to Sarnath.
And I think the next time we go, we have to go find.
We have to
tower
go
to the
north.
To Ilnag. To
Ilarnek.
Ilarnik. That's it. Well, I've been visiting the dreamlands for the longest time, but over the last week, something has changed. I've been wandering the dreamlands and all, and I've been to various regions, but I can hardly leave the land of Nar anymore. It gets harder and harder, and I'm always drawn back to the land of Nar, and especially to Ib and to Ilarnek. And I don't know why.
I've been thinking supposedly that every 58 years there's that land bleeds over to this town and causes a sinkhole.
All of the stories of the wild man and things like that that come through and attack people.
Well, I've been fearing for some time that there are people in this town that are in league with Borkrug and with this new council in Ilarnek.
So, Doctor, when you're in this dream world and when we're in our dream world, are we sharing this world, or do we have distinct? Is our world different from yours? How exactly does this work?
Can you repeat that? The mic was too low.
When you're in your dream world and we're in our dream world, are we sharing a dream world, or
yes,
is
that
our
is
world
the
distinct
dream
from
world
yours?
the dream world is a reality. It's not inside your heads. It is
It's a shared unconsciousness, isn't it, Professor?
You're saying it's a physical
by the
place.
unconsciousness, but it is as real as this world.
So we could, in theory, meet each other if we
Yes, we
wandered
could.
around long enough. Okay.
It's like going to a different. It's like, I guess in our sleep, it's like going through a portal.
Different dimension, a hole in space
Well,
time.
you don't enter it with your body,
It's more
but
a metaphysical
your mind
thing, yes.
your mind goes there.
How
There
did
are-
you first?
supposedly there are some ways to enter it physically, but I don't know about that.
It sounds a little like theosophy. What's her name? Adam Blavatsky, or that we're attached to our bodies by a silver cord, but we can travel in the ethereal planes. Geez, where'd that come from?
Yes, Carl, I've heard of that too. Hey, Professor, can beings from the dreamlands come here? We were told
I honestly don't know. I fear that the dream world and this world are getting ever closer.
Wait, it now occurs to me. If the dream world is real, then maybe all of these stories that we're encountering, it's not about the dream Ibian things coming into our world, but they're infecting the dreams of all the people in this region. So
Right.
all of the fairy tales are just from dreams that people
Right. Like the professor said, Nar, the place of lost nightmares and lost stories and lost dreams, that's just sliding from the holes into our world.
the wild man, that was just a dream someone had, and they wrote
That
it down
became
like
real.
a fairy tale.
I don't think that little Hans and little Greta are figments of their parents' imagination that they dreamt and then
No, I
thought went
think they were
missing.
taken by something.
The children still disappear in the woods all the time. I mean, that's a fact
Yes,
of.
but there are strange things going on here.
Who, Professor, are you concerned about other than Mayor Griesa and Herr Joch?
Why would I don't, I'm not really concerned about the mayor, but Joch is certainly, and he looks scared around over his shoulder. Joch and his cronies are certainly the ones.
In league with these.
Yes.
What do you think they're trying to do? Are they trying to cross over into this world and build a city?
They have, I think they have some kind of agreement. From what I know, Ilnarnek was once a flourishing town, and it still is.
Wait.
There are people from all over the dreamlands and from other worlds coming there, but it has been corrupted. The breath of Bokruk, as these cloaked minions of the council are called, they subdue everything, and there are people from this, I think they're from this city, who live different lives in Ilnarnek.
Wait. The entire festival that's later this week is entirely based off supposedly someone from Alarnak starting it like hundreds of years ago.
Well, that ancestor of Joch, the Joch family goes back. I think the reason your dreams have been extreme, Professor, is because the festival is coming, and are you aware of the 58-year cycle?
No, that's the first time I heard about that. But that would explain why all is changing and why. But I never understood how how small-minded men like Yokt or the cult flyers, how they can enter the beyond the doors of the Silver Key. It shouldn't be possible for them to come there.
What if, supposedly, every 58 years, a new sinkhole appears, and then something comes from it, or something happens attached to it, like people start putting coals in their shoes and burning down houses. A fishman comes from the lake.
Oh my God.
Like,
Do you
You've
think
mentioned the
so?
silver lock several times. What is the silver lock?
The Silver Key.
Well,
Silver key.
that is what the land of the dreams is called. The land beyond the gates of the Silver Key. Supposedly there is a silver key that can bring you into the dream world.
Doesn't
If
that
you're not
answer
able
your
to dream
question
yourself
then?
into it.
How did they get in there? They must have the silver key.
they broke a chain.
Maybe.
What if it's something different? What if there is some sort of religious cult here that has a deal, and every 50 years they make some sort of sacrifice to them, maybe to keep them from coming through?
Well, I just know that these beings, these remnants of the race of Hip that work for the new council, they shouldn't exist, not even in the dreamlands. And if they are coming here, that would be a disaster. I once found a mention of that there's supposed to be a rhyme or a invocation that should banish them, but I've not been able to find the wording.
Perhaps something to do with a mouse in a fur hat.
Maybe something in the Brothers Grimm.
I don't know. What do you mean a mouse in a fur hat?
The end of Hansel and Gretel.
It's the thing we heard in one of the dreams. The end, where we woke up.
There's a mouse. If we can catch it, we can make a fur hat. Something like that.
Like a large fur hat or something. Fur cap, I think it was.
Where did you hear that?
It's at the end of the story of Hansel and Gretel in the Brothers Grimm.
But
We heard it in the wheat
why do you
fields.
think it could be?
Some of the research we've done has also indicated that they heard that related to a minstrel or to music playing.
The Sandman, yeah,
We heard it when we were in the field of wheat in between Sarnath and Ebb.
Yeah, we found the Sandman's cart and then we woke up.
We didn't hear who said it, but
tell me exactly what happened there.
So after running through the city of Ib, we ended up trying to go to Sarnath and just ended up just not being able to leave the sight line of the lake. And we just went to the wheat field after we heard a cart. And we
saw a cart tracks going into the wheat.
And then along the wind, we heard someone basically yell the last 2 lines of Hansel and Gretel for some reason. And then we woke up.
They said it more than once. They repeated it over and over again.
It was like they were singing it.
Maybe it was this. Maybe it was the Sandman. The Sandman is. I think he is sent by some powers. I think he seeks to bring an end to whatever keeps these Ibians.
The 7 sons of the 7th son said they were an agent of their father. So he's the last agent of Tsar, supposedly.
They sent a jester to try to put the dark dream that you described, I guess, to take it to Zach, where it can fade and away from here.
They made us
All
boots.
this time I've been thinking the minstrel is the cause, has been bringing this horror onto the town, but has he been saving them?
Or is it more of he is the thing we correlate with the approaching disaster? He shows up before it happens to keep it from spreading.
I wonder if
Yes.
Erling is trying to find the same rhyme or chant that can prevent this.
Doctor, let's say in the dream world let's say we found a corpse of a person. Would that have any sort of correspondence to what happened in the real world?
If you die in the dream world, you will not be able to dream yourself into the dream world again.
You're locked out of it forever.
Yeah.
You have no place to wake up in
Yeah.
the dreamlands.
You have just one life in the dream world.
So you would wake
As
up.
you have as you have just one life in this world.
But you would wake up that you would not be able to return.
No.
Yes, and I would imagine it would be quite traumatic. I've never experienced it, obviously.
Maybe that's what drove Early bananas.
Can't go
Maybe
back.
He died there and he can't go
Go
back.
back.
Was he trying to save her and he couldn't?
Possibly.
I think he was nuts before that.
Well,
He was trying to rescue the girl in the dream world and failed.
And I think with those ponderings, we will make the cut.
Excellent. Our players included Brian Ridge, David Gasway, Max Dahl, Steve Anderson, and myself, with Pascal Breitenfeld as the keeper of the secrets. We have a Discord server where you can chat with our other members. You can set up private games. You can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 or $2 a month helps us a lot. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel, and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and everything. The hell? We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Relly, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.